all the called
I had studied with George Lawrence Stone in Boston on Hanover Street, and George Lawrence Stone was probably the best in the business at the time. Joe Morello studied with him, and the drummers would come into Boston like Buddy Rich or Gene Krupa, and they'd go to Stone and say, "How are my hands? What am I doing wrong?" And then I went down to the Navy School of Music and auditioned and passed it. And after that, they assigned you to what they call a unit band. It wasn't the Navy band, you know. They had unit bands on different bases and different ships. So I was with the unit band on the USS Missouri. And I went to Berkeley, which was on 284 Newbury Street in Boston. Small little school, comparatively speaking, small school, probably 70 or 80 people in the whole school, you know. Mostly veterans who were going to school on the GI Bill. And while I was there, I did a lot of gigging around Boston. I had that job at Storyville, which I was very fortunate to get. You know, kid 19 years old, and you're playing with Roy Eldridge and Anita O'Day and all the people that you, as a kid, I used to buy that record, you know. So it was great. I was lucky. Lucky.
You played with the house band at Storyville?
Yeah, I was with Toshiko Akiyoshi, who was a Japanese jazz pianist who was going to Berkeley at the time as a student. Right? So her and I and Boots Masuli and Gene Chirico. So it was great because I'd get off the stand, then I'd go backstage and listen who was it, Oscar or Basie's band or something like that. Most beautiful guy in the world, Shelly Manne, right? Who was my idol at the same time. At the same time, drumming wise. 2 weeks, I think he was at Storyville. Well, my drum set was set up here on the stage, and his was set up here. And I had 2 lessons with him because Boots Masuli was with Shelly on Kenton's band, right? And Shelly stayed at the Copley Hotel, so he set me up with a couple of lessons. I can remember asking Shelly. He used to play these blazing tempos, you know, and just like, no sweat, just, and I used to play these blazing tempos, and I used to have to get out and soak my arm in the sink downstairs and like the men's room goods. It would tighten up and get cold. So the first thing I asked Shelly that was what I wanted to do. I said, "How you play those tempos, man, so fast and with no sweat?" You know, and I said, "What's the secret? What's the trick on doing that?" He says, "Did your arm get tired?" He says, and ache. He says, "Right in there." I said, "Yeah." He says, and then does it get cold? Your hand get warm? I said, "Yeah." He says, "You're doing it right." In other words, there's no secret. You know, to work at it. You know. I thought it was a secret hand grip or something, that you did, right. But it wasn't. It was just pay your dues, that was it.